Hello everyone, welcome to the Plunge Talks podcast. I'm your host Michelle and I'm here with my amazing guest, Jess.
Hi everybody, it's so good to be here.
So Jess, the first question I ask everybody
Yes.
is how do you want the world to know you?
I want the world to know me as a bit of a trailblazer, somebody that really lives their life. For me, this is not the dress rehearsal, this is my life. And I came here to live a life and to inspire other people to really live theirs and to get stuck in, because there's so much beauty and community and experiences we have in this world, and so many people don't scratch the surface.
Yes.
So for me, really, life is for living, and I want people to know me as somebody that really sucks the marrow out of life and lives life to the full and just sees life as this amazing adventure and kind of a blank canvas, and you get to paint it however you wish.
Yes, I love that, and I feel like people get so lost in their day-to-day. They get lost in what they want things to be or how things should look like, and it sounds like you're really just taking whatever is in front of you and saying, all right, let's go in, let's make it brighter, let's make it bigger, and that's such a beautiful skill and gift.
And it's taken time. It's taken time for me to cultivate. I think we all live in that space. We live in the world where everything is on Instagram and everything else.
Yes.
And I think for a period of my life, I was living for the gram or living for how it looked. And then I got to a point in my life where I went through some crazy stuff in Mexico and Tulum. And I had to really look at myself and say, is this working for me? And does this work for me? And how do I want to live my life? And authenticity has always been a big thing for me.
Yes.
And now that I really feel that I've stepped into who I am authentically, my life has changed so dramatically.
Yes.
I have boundaries. These are the people in my life.
Yes.
These are the things that I eat. This is how I live my life. These are my daily habits. These are my rituals and routines. And this is how I roll.
Yes.
I'm not actually prepared for anything else or available for anything else.
Yes.
I'm not prepared for vanilla on a Tuesday. I'm not prepared for things and people that don't add value to my life. It's basically, if you're not adding value to my life, then the exits are there, and there.
Yes.
And get out. I don't have space.
Yes.
My life is precious, and that's also the thing. I think that people forget that this is our one precious life. It's a gift.
It's a gift.
And you can sit it, wasting it, watching Netflix. Or you can go out there and live.
Yes.
So that's my biggest thing. Go and live. And do the things that give you real dopamine, not fake dopamine. Do the things that bring you closer to who you are.
Yes.
It was so fascinating to me when I was going through a really rough patch, as we all do. I think if you don't go through the darkness, you can't experience the light. They say the more you can hold the dark, the more you can hold the light.
Yes.
And that's been true for me in my life. Definitely, when I've gone through dark patches, when I've come out on the other side, the expansion is so much bigger than the contraction. The contraction was revolting and it was horrible, but it was so needed to get to where I wanted to go.
Yes.
And I think it's only through those challenging times we really get to know ourselves and decide, what do I want? How do I want to show up in the world? Who do I want to be moving forwards? Because whatever's happening right here is no longer working for me. And I'm entirely up to me. And I think it's such a hard pill to swallow, because the I am entirely up to me part is like, shit. No one's coming to get me. No one's coming to save me. I always hear Mel Robbins' words. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to get you out of bed. It's your life.
Yes.
And you have to choose how you show up and what you're going to do with the day. Because you can walk out tomorrow and get hit by a bus.
Yep.
That can literally happen.
Yes.
And will you be proud of how you showed up in your life? Because at the end of the day, no one actually gives a shit. No one cares except you. So you're not doing it for your mother, your brother, your sister, your auntie, your best friend Crystal. No, you're doing it for you. So this is your life. How do you want to live it? And one of my mentors said to me when I was in my darkness, he said, start doing things that make you feel more like yourself. And then I came, because I used to cold plunge in Cape Town in the ocean. So I've been cold plunging for about a decade, maybe more, 20 years. But I didn't have in Cape Town, it's amazing. They have community. There used to be 20 people that did it. Now there's at least 200 people on the beach every morning.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. That's
incredible.
Really a tribute to what cold plunging does to your life.
Yes.
So finding the space was one of the biggest highlights of me coming back to Florida. It really was. The space, the community, the music, the fun, the vibe. We call it the high vibe tribe.
Yes.
Because people here are taking their shit seriously. People here want to elevate, they want to activate, they want to expand. And those are my people.
Yes.
They are people that want to make their life better and are willing to put themselves in discomfort to get there.
It's taking that personal responsibility.
100%. and becoming self-resourced. My biggest lesson in the last year was becoming self-resourced, learning to live completely from the inside out and no longer from the outside in. It was really, okay, this is shit, this is not feeling good, this feels icky. I'm going to slap this bitch like I'm not coping. What do I do?
Yeah.
And it was learning breath work, slow down, grounding, put your feet on the grass, get in the cold plunge, get out into nature. You're not feeling good? Go take a walk. Before you deal with something, go take a walk, get present. Do you really want to say that, or are you just having a moment? So your reaction is completely up to you. And I also like responsibility, the word responsibility, the ability to respond. How are you responding? And when you become self-resourced and you start to choose to regulate your own nervous system, which is what you get with the breath work, with the cold plunging, with the exercise, with the meditation, those things are not buzzwords and buzz themes for no reason.
Yes.
People do them because it changes their lives. All their studies on everything, food, movement, meditation, cold exposure, there's scientific evidence in all these realms that tell you this is life-changing. But people are still prepared to eat shit and sit on the couch and do nothing.
Well, because they don't want to do the work, right? They don't want to take responsibility for their own life and say, I'm miserable because of the decisions that I have made. They don't see that, okay, maybe that's true, and then I get to make new decisions to create the life that I want. And they want a quick fix.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing, is you can choose to change your life tomorrow. You can wake up tomorrow and say, hell no, Gina, it's time to elevate. It's time to get your shit together. This is my life, and I'm not prepared to live in struggle city anymore. Addicted to my suffering about how shit my life is. Because guess what? Complaining is a competitive sport. People
really
that complain, it's
isn't
just like, oh, my problem's worse, and
I love the one-uppers, the complaining
pathetic.
one-uppers.
I mean, really. Yeah. And it's like, guys, all you're doing is moaning. And we've all heard this before. Tony Robbins drums it into us. What we focus on expands. Where attention goes, energy flows. We've heard these sayings. They're fucking real.
Right.
It is real. Like whatever you are focusing on, if you think your attention's going there, everything's going there. Oh, this is so shit, my life is so shit. I've got bills to pay, I've got this. You get yourself in such a shitstorm you can't even see out.
Yeah. And then shit's going to keep being thrown at you.
It's like, get yourself out. Go and get in the cold plunge. Every time I come here to the space, my life has changed. I'm having a shit day, I come here. I'm having a good day, I come here. My life has elevated in every area since I've come here. The people I've met, the community I have, the breath work I'm obsessed with, the sound healing, Harmony 369.
Yes.
What an extraordinary group of humans.
They are incredible. In Harmony 369 does sound journeys here. It's not sound baths or sound healings, it's sound journeys. It's like a full journey. It's incredible. They've changed my life completely.
100%.
Yes.
They just hold such a phenomenal space.
Yes.
You know, they always say that a woman's most fundamental need is to feel safe.
Yes.
And they create such a safe space. They cleanse your energy. They literally take one-on-one time to connect with you, and then they take you on this journey. Because at the end of the day, every single human has trauma, and talk therapy can do so much. But when you learn that all the trauma is stored in the body, and the only way to move that trauma through the body is through somatic release, through sound, through movement, through all these different, through breath work, all these ways, this is how we do it. So this is the responsibility we now have as humans. How are we going to regulate ourselves? How are we going to take responsibility for our lives? And how are we going to elevate ourselves into the next dimension? Because right now, we are moving rapidly on Earth. Things are happening fast. And if you don't get your shit together, quite frankly, in my humble opinion, you're going to get left behind. Or you're going to hang out in struggle city, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get harder, and it's going to get heavier. So the only way to hold more light is to expand your ability to regulate your nervous system.
Yes.
Because we're going to be made of light. That's what's happening. There's so much light coming onto the planet. And if you don't have a regulated nervous system and you haven't expanded your energy field, you're not going to be able to hold that light.
Yes.
So you are going to get bitch slapped harder than you have ever expected to happen.
Yes.
Like, you feel it today. Like, how many people have anxiety?
Everyone.
Everyone is having a fucking meltdown and a panic attack.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't know how to process their emotions.
Yes.
And it's not their fault. This is the biggest thing I want to say to people. It is not your fault. Do not get into a shame shitstorm. And if you need anything on shame, look up Brene Brown. She will change your
So
life.
good.
So
Yes.
Brene Brown basically says shame needs 3 things to grow: secrecy, silence, and judgment. So you keep it a secret because you're so mortified that this is happening to you. How, God forbid, could this happen to me? Like, I always have my shit together. Why is this happening to me? Then you keep it a secret, then you silence, you just keep hush. You zip your lips and you don't talk about it. Meanwhile, you are fucking dying inside. And then you judge yourself. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Please get your shit together. You're really pathetic. This is pathetic. Da, 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 da. Those things literally make shame grow in a petri dish at a rapid rate. But, she says, dosed with the same amount of empathy, shame cannot exist. And you need 2 words when someone's in a shame shitstorm. All it is me too. Because at the end of the day, we've all been there. We have all been in a shame shitstorm.
Yes.
We have all been mortified with the events of our life. Like, I had my life together, everything was Gucci, everything was amazing, I was about to take everything to the next level, and then I didn't. And I was mortified, and I let myself get into a shame shitstorm. And I know better than that, but I still allowed myself to go there, because we are all #human.
Yes.
So, instead of allowing yourself to go in these shame shitstorms because you're having a panic attack, I think mental health is not really spoken about enough. And I think it's quite devastating because people feel so alone. And one of the biggest things for me about the space is the community.
Yes.
Like the breathwork community, plunging community. I mean, we have a dance party there every day.
Every day.
I come here for my little dance, my daily dance party. And my daily download. Every time I get into that bath, I get my daily download. It's like ding, 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 ding. You just connected straight to source. It's phenomenal. So I really think it's just such an important thing. We've all been through shit. Don't suffer alone, because I think we're so scared to say, and to be so scared to be vulnerable. But vulnerability is the glue that connects us to each other, because when you share who you are authentically, people relate to you. It's that relatability of you being like, this is the fucking shit show I'm going through. I am not okay. And people are like, fuck, me too, help. It's like, me too, I've been there. And the problem is with Instagram and all this bullshit, is everyone's like, oh, everything's fine, everything's Gucci, but it's not.
Well, and that's the thing too, and that I want to like really kind of highlight this piece that you're talking about, is that everyone, especially with social media, is trying to put on this facade. They're showing their highlight reel. They're showing, here I look in makeup, here I look filtered, my life is great, look at me on all these boats with all my friends and we're having a great time. And you might be having a great time in that moment. That's perfect, that's yours. I know I like to show off my nice things on Instagram too. But then that like compounds when things are not okay, when things are not perfect.
Because then it's a pressure to, I'm not posting, my life's not okay, how am I going to post?
All of these people are going to expect this from me and I can't deliver, but then I'm going to push through and pretend, right? So it's like slowing down that awareness of like, okay, I am not okay. And then being able to have that conversation. Like when I was a therapist, my favorite things to do were, I worked in addictions counseling. And
that's all mostly shame.
It's all shame. It's all people who have, I feel like so many people that I worked with had never truly felt love and had never had the opportunity to actually trust themselves. It's just trauma from day one. So many people were never shown that they were okay as who they are. And I think that like my favorite part, the most powerful thing about working in that position was groups. I love doing group therapy. And it's the community. And like even as the facilitator, as a therapist, we're trained to not share pieces of ourselves, right? We're trained to not self-disclose. Or if we do it, we have to do it strategically or whatever. Because it's not us in the room, it's everybody else. But what I found was the more I was able to share a piece of me, and now it would just be for a moment, it would just be a snippet or whatever, but the more that I was able to kind of start off the session with something vulnerable about my experience, immediately people would share. People would feel alone. People felt connected. People were supporting one another. And it was the most beautiful thing that I have ever witnessed.
It's a door opener. It's basically like, here is the door to my soul.
Yes.
And I'm willing to take the chance of being this vulnerable and show you who I am.
Yes.
And I think one of the biggest things with shame is like, guilt is I fucked up. Shame is I am a fuck up.
Yes.
So that's the biggest thing, is like, Shame is so you identify with the shame.
Right. It becomes your identity. I am shameful. I am not enough. I am not okay. I fucked this up. I. And
self-destruction.
It's self-destruction because then you begin to embody that. That becomes a part of your story.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Shake it
but
off.
that is when you realize that is what a huge percentage of the population is working with on a regular basis. Especially, I feel like people that are in positions of, I don't want to use the power, but like in positions in society, right? So whether they're someone who's famous or someone who's got a big Instagram following or someone who, like, in my case, like as the therapist, I'm the therapist, right? So if people don't know me, if you're a client of mine, you just met me for the first time, okay, she probably has her shit together because she went to grad school, she's doing this, she's doing that, she's wearing a button down. I hated wearing button downs.
Not the look, girl.
Right. But you know, there's this, we kind of create this story about who we're witnessing based on how whatever their title is or whatever their resume is or whatever our perception of them is, and if they try to have this perception of being put together. And so when someone who is in some position that people think are, you know, maybe elevated in some way, you think, okay, this person has their shit together.
Completely. And I think for me, being a TV personality, one of the biggest things for me now is my responsibility as I step more into this work to disclose everything vulnerably and to have the courage to share my story and how I move through it and work through it. And it was really, a big part of it was community.
Yes.
A big part of it was putting myself in discomfort.
Yes.
It was my rituals and routines. It was saying, how am I going to build a solid foundation within self that is the most authentic thing to me? It was like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm actually not available for it anymore. Like, I'm not available for inauthentic people and inauthentic life.
Yes.
I've always gone to the beat of my own drum. Like, I literally was in the corporate world for 4 whole months. I lasted after college. I studied marketing.
Wow, 4 months.
Studied marketing and
That's
finance,
amazing.
and then I spent 4 months in corporate, and I was like, absolutely not. That's not happening. And I've been traveling the world for a decade, working on super yachts as a chef. I went to Bali. I did my yoga teacher training. I studied integrated nutrition in New York, transformational nutrition in LA. So this work is my passion. And I had a solid foundation, and I've done the work. I've done so much of the work. But the whole thing is, the work never ends.
The work never ends.
And it's evolution and growth over a lifetime.
Yes.
It's daily, consistent commitment, discipline, and action.
Yes.
And the biggest thing that's worked for me is taking aligned action with where I want to go and who I want to be.
Yes.
Waking up every morning and asking myself, Jessica, who do you want to be today? Let's do that. Let's do more of that.
Yes.
I want to embody this goddess, this gourmet goddess, this
gourmet goddess.
The gourmet goddess.
Let's go. Hey.
And now I'm doing my alchemy in the kitchen, which is
Yes.
all about teaching people to eat for ascension, really, but eat the things that are going to nourish you, body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
And it's about taking personal responsibility there too. It's really about being like, what I put into my body, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, is my responsibility. No one's going to come feed you. So how are you going to feed yourself? Because we all know that there's never been a life transformation that has taken place without food. Food is the cornerstone of any transformation. Abs are built in the kitchen.
Yes, they are.
Your mindset, the way you think. I changed my life with food at 12 years old. I was taken off sugar, gluten, and dairy, and I reversed my ADD, or I learned to manage my ADD with food. I went from being a child that was staring out the window, couldn't concentrate in class, and I refused to take Ritalin or Adderall, any of that stuff. So that was just not on my to-do list. But changing my diet changed my life. And that's how that's kind of how I started playing with food. Because my mom would be like, this is what we're having to dinner. What are you having? And then I realized that healthy can be delicious.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I streamline myself as a chef, making healthy delicious.
Yes.
And learning that you can empower yourself with food. Because for a lot of people, food is extremely intimidating.
Yes.
But it doesn't need to be. So I simplify things. I make it easy. I make it simple. I make it quick. Because ain't nobody got time. I don't have time, but I want to eat healthy, delicious, easy food. Those one-pan meals, throw it in the oven. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot of that stuff, which is going to be super exciting.
I can't wait for that.
Alchemy in the kitchen. I'm starting it this week, so we're going to be launching one of the first episodes. It was going to be called Chemistry in the Kitchen because that was my old catering company. But I realized I'm an alchemist.
Yes.
So alchemy
definitely
is
more.
way more. It's turning that lead into gold. It's turning that heaviness. It's also turning food into gold.
Yes.
And the other part of that is not only what we eat, it's how we eat, our intention behind what we're eating, and the energetics we're putting into it when we're cooking.
Yes.
So for me, people always laugh at me. I put on the music, there has to be a vibe. I'm all about the vibe.
Always.
I light the candles, I light the incense. And if you've ever worked with me on a boat, you know I actually do this in real life. It's actually not a joke. There's crystals, there's candles, and there's incense. And I've had captains be mortified, being like, my God, where is this chick even from? But it's part of my routine, my ritual. And cooking is a ritual. And when you make it sacred, it changes the way your body digests the food and your body receives the food, because you're saying, I love you so much. I love this beautiful temple, this vessel, and I'm going to nourish you and I'm going to feed you in the best way possible. And that's why when I spend money on food, I always feel like I'm investing in myself.
Yes.
And people that are like eating cheap shit, if you eat cheap shit, you're going to feel like cheap shit.
Yep.
And I always say, when you feel better and look better, you do better.
Yes.
You're just going to show up as a different version of yourself.
Yes.
And this is like, it's happening now, guys. Like now. There's never been a more important time to get your shit together.
Well, and especially with food, right? Food is like, if you're driving a Ferrari, are you going to put the regular gas in your car, or are you going to put the fancy stuff?
100%.
You know, and we forget, because food is something we do every day, and a lot of times we're busy, so we're just trying to shove whatever we have in our mouth. Like I'm the queen of doing that. I'm like, okay, what's in my pantry right now that I think I can do something with, just to get sustenance to move on to the next thing. But food is what fuels us.
We are what we eat.
We are what we eat.
It becomes
literally.
your body physically, mentally, and it not only does it become your physical body, but it becomes your energetic body. So it's like, that is the vibe that you're taking into the world. And you see people that are angry, they have not nourished themselves. There's no ways.
Yeah.
They've been putting shit into their body. They're very liverish. Anger is all about the liver. They've probably drunk too much coffee, eaten too much red meat, and eaten too many Wendy burgers or whatever. But they've just been putting junk into their system. So their system is so clogged and so toxic that they always say, what do you get when you squeeze an orange? Orange juice. What do you get when you squeeze a human that's full of toxins? Toxic.
Yeah.
Toxic energy. So what are you going to be? Do you want to be this beautiful, energetic vessel that is bringing joy and light and abundance and just high vibes into the world, or are you going to be putting out toxic energy? You choose. It's up to you.
And that gets to be something as simple as food. You don't have to go to a 2-week retreat in Bali. You don't have to change your wardrobe. You don't have to start, meditating for 3 hours a day. Like, it's food.
Small.
It's a thing that you're doing every day. And if you can start making those small little steps, say, okay, maybe I can't do it for all meals because I've got a busy schedule and I've got kids and I've got this and that, whatever. Great, fine, we can make excuses. But if you can start eliminating one thing or adding one thing.
Absolutely. And it's like, so when I studied integrative nutrition, we used to use the crowding out. They used to use the crowding out kind of approach. And the crowding out was just adding all the good things. Because when you have nutritionally dense food, you don't put shit in your body.
Yes.
Because the reason we put shit in our body is because we are eating foods that are nutrient deficient, not nutrient dense. So when you eat foods that have lots of nutrients in them and nutrition in them, you're sustained and you're fulfilled.
Yes.
So you don't reach
Your
for the
body isn't
cookies.
craving sugar,
No.
your body isn't craving salt, because it's receiving everything that it already
100%.
needs.
Absolutely, and I just think it's so important. And another, there's 2 more other hacks that I want to talk about, because we all love a hack. So one of the hacks is the ice face plunge. It works. If you don't have the time and or money to get to a cold plunge place, everybody has access to an ice and a bowl. Put your face in the bowl. When I was stuck on a boat for 2 weeks and I didn't have access to the space, I thought I was going to tweak. But I did the ice plunging every morning, and it changed my life.
Yes.
Get a bowl with some ice and do 15 to 30 second dips 3 or 4 times, and off you go. First of all, you look snatched. So you get those cheekbones out, girl.
You don't need Botox, none of that.
But it clears your head, because also you're doing it in your face, which is so close to your brain.
Right.
It literally,
So many nerve endings.
Yeah, and Dave Asprey really says it's way better than cold showers.
Yeah.
So-
well, I think cold showers, especially here too, because you're not
Florida,
being
the water's not
submerged.
even
The water's
cold.
not even cold. But you're not being submerged. You're
Yeah.
not having that
You're
moment of
trickling.
right.
Because that face plunge, you literally are like, oh, get me out of here.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful. And when you start doing these things, remember, people are not going to be inspired by your opinion. They're going to be inspired by your example. So you have to do the fucking damn things. You can't talk about it. You can't be like, do the thing and then talk about it and show us how you're doing it. And share with us. We want to see how you're doing this stuff. And the other thing I really want to talk about is the embodiment practices, because for me, I dance every day. I go out onto the beach, I do some qigong, I do some shaking and some breathing, because this whole spiritual thing is like, people are going to do this and you've got to do that and you've got to get up and you've got to say your prayers and your gratitude and you've got to journal and you blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck, I'm exhausted. I haven't even, like, I just want to have my coffee, like, leave me alone. But one of the biggest things for me is just getting into your body. All I say to my clients is like, I need 5 minutes. First of all, get your ass outside, on the grass or on the sand. Your feet need to touch the earth. It's the most important thing we can do for ourselves. Above all else, the most important thing you can do is get into nature and put your feet on the earth. The sand, the grass, the mud, whatever it is. Just get your feet on the earth, because it grounds you. It changes the electrical magnetic frequency of your body. It changes the ions, and it happens instantly. As your feet hit the earth, it literally is instant. It is the best thing for inflammation you can do for the body. The reason we are in a time where there's so many autoimmune and inflammation diseases is because of the synthetic soled shoe. It was the worst invention of the 21st century, because people don't touch the earth. We are disconnected from who we are at the core and our most natural, who we are at the most natural kind of expression. So get your ass on the grass every day and then get into your body. Like just the shaking, breathing, do the breath work, like 2 minutes of breath work and 3 minutes of dance shaking.
That's 5 minutes. That's
5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. 5 fucking minutes. Get out there, shake. Shaking is one of the most amazing things to do to get trauma out the body. When an animal is attacked, you see it afterwards and it's shaking. Humans don't shake. So just shake your body and have a playlist that you love. Breathe. I love doing those breaths where you go up and then you you come up and you go down. You see me on the beach, people think I'm cooked in the morning. I'm walking down the beach, I'm dancing, I'm doing some swimming, dancing. And if you can get into the ocean every day, get in the ocean. So dance, shake, breathe, move. Check out some qigong, check out some yoga, check out some breath work. And guys, in the world we live in, ignorance is a choice. It's called YouTube. Or any podcast. You can go onto any podcast, onto any YouTube, onto Instagram. There's no ways in the world we live in with so much free information that you can stay in struggle city. Like, that's on you. Sorry, but it's on you. If you want to stay there, that's you, boo. But if you want to go and elevate your life, start doing things that are going to make you feel alive. Don't you want to feel like you're living? That you actually came here and you have a purpose, because we all have a purpose. We are all magical. But so many people are so terrified of their light that they want to stay in the dark. Get into your light. The world needs you. The world needs you to stand up there and say, fuck yes, this is who I am. This is what I came here to do, and I want to share it with the world. I want to make the world a better place, because that's just who I am. I want to bring high energy. I want to nourish myself. And the only way to heal the world is actually to heal yourself. It all starts with you. You are the starting point of the whole equation. That's why telling people what to do is never going to work. You have to show them by being that example and really embodying it physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Because let me tell you very quickly that people will feel the bullshit from 10 kilometers away. They'll be like, whatever, Shaniqua, you are not real. If you just talk about it, you have to live it, you have to breathe it, you have to be it.
Embody it completely.
Completely.
And I think that's part of the challenge of society, and why it is so hard to step into, wait, I can take responsibility for my life and I'm going to do all these practices, is because, one, I feel like if you watch the news or pay attention to anything that's happening in the world, I don't either, because it would bring me to such a place of despair.
It's fear.
Because I kept seeing all these terrible things happening all over the world, and I kept thinking, how are we going to fix this? How am I going to change this? And then we're also taught that if you focus on yourself,
it's wrong.
It's wrong. You're selfish. You're narcissist, whatever. And that is the opposite, right?
Completely.
We have to focus on ourselves.
We
have to do what we need to do.
It all begins here.
It all starts here. And it's also setting boundaries. You mentioned 100%. That earlier. That is something that I've been struggling with my whole life, because
people pleasers. We're all people pleasers.
We're all people pleasers.
We want to make everyone happy. You're not a fucking Snickers bar. You can't make everyone happy.
And even Snickers bar doesn't make everybody happy. Some people don't like peanuts. It's true. But I feel like reminding ourselves that it's not selfish to work on ourselves, to focus 100%. On ourselves, to set boundaries, to honor ourselves, to honor our authenticity. If I need an extra 10 minutes in the morning,
people must wait. People have to wait. If you don't have those boundaries, even when I used to cook food and I'd have people panicking, I said, this food is going to be next level. The people are going to have the most amazing experience. I'm taking 5 extra minutes to make this dish what I want it to be, instead of rushing it out.
Right.
Because guess what they're going to get when they eat it if I've rushed it off the plate? They're going to get that energy.
Yep.
So I would be like, no, everybody calm down. And I'm always like, people can wait. Yes, I'm a timiest person. I like to be on time. All that stuff is important. But if I need 5 extra minutes in the morning, I'm going to phone the person I'm meeting and say, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I hope you don't mind. I just had to do some stuff for myself.
Yes.
And guess what? When you actually tell people that, they respect it. And I think when you learn to communicate vulnerably, openly, and honestly, people have a lot more respect for you because they understand that you're being self-honoring.
Yes.
And it inspires them to do the same.
Yes.
And that I think is actually now bringing this all back. The biggest thing is when you step into your light, when you own who you are, when you are the most authentic version of yourself, what you're actually doing is you're giving people permission to do the same. Because somehow in the society we have been brought up in, we are looking for the pink slip. We are looking for the permission slip to go be great. This is your permission slip, people. Go and be great. Go and be who you are. Go and push your own boundaries. Go and push in, lean into the discomfort. Because the growth is going to be uncomfortable. Going on a spiritual journey, the real spiritual journey is going to be uncomfortable. Spiritual bypassing is easy. We can all do it. We can all go to breathwork, yoga, Right. Go and do all the things. But if you're not embodying it, if you're not letting it go all the way through your body, you're just doing the things. You're running around like a blue-ass fly, doing all the things, ding, 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 but you still feel empty inside because you're not actually connecting to who you are, where you're going, what you want, and you're not connecting to that service element, to your community. How can I lift the vibration here? By actually healing myself.
Yes. Well, and I think, coming back to the community piece, that was when we opened this place, that was my biggest goal, was to create a community.
And you have.
And I know.
It's incredible.
So I love it.
The nights we have here, the community, the humor. I mean, when you go and sit in the sauna there, the life stories, and the best part for me is, nobody knows who anybody else is. So you could have a famous athlete, a cyclist, a banker, a horse rider, a baker, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, you don't know.
Yeah.
And everyone's just chilling there in their bathing suits, chatting away about how they are changing their life and this biohacking thing and that. So everyone's like giving each other this information. It's like bing, bing, bing. And like as one person's light turns on, the other person's light turns on. And it's like all these lights are just like coming on. And my best is watching people come out of the cold plunge. You see their face.
Yes.
They go in, the first time they
freaking out.
The panic. And then they come out and they literally look like they've had a rebirth.
Yes.
It's like, holy shit, did that just happen?
Yes.
And I know, like, I'll be honest, my name's Jessica and I'm an addict. I come to cold plunge every day. Because I am. It is like the dopamine I get. But as a creative, it's the clarity for me.
Yes.
It's the clarity, it's the connection, it's the community. It's how I feel within myself. I feel so lit, so charged, and so alive.
Yes.
And I think part of that aliveness is when you do the cold plunge, all of your cells kind of slow down and shut down. And then when you get out, all your mitochondria are like, wing! And it's like you kind of like boost that ATP into a whole new realm. You like reboot your entire system.
Yes.
And for all those who don't know this piece of information, cold plunging burns more brown fat than any amount of cardio or weight training you can do. So if you want to look snatched, get some cold plunge and all that.
That's right. That's right. We get the physical benefit and the mental benefit, which is everything.
100%. It's like a one-stop shop. That's also the thing what I want to say about the space. It is a bit of a one-stop shop. You roll in here, you got connection, you got community, you got cold plunge, you got some really good tunes, even when I have to DJ myself.
Hey, my playlists are
Your
great.
playlists are
I'm not
great.
responsible for anybody else's.
Your
but mine
playlists are great.
fantastic.
But I do take over the playlist once in a while.
Yes.
Because I like that really good music. Because you need to feel motivated.
Yes.
Like you need to feel the pump. The sound healing, phenomenal. The yoga, phenomenal. The breath work, phenomenal. So if you are in Fort Lauderdale and you have not been here, and this is not a promotion, I'm doing this because I'm obsessed with this place, get your ass to Cold Plunge and just elevate your life. Because what it's done for me is, I'll say this, it has elevated my life in every single area of my life, not just one. And I think that's what the power of the space is. And it's given me space. That's when you're in the cold plunge, that's almost what happens. Your brain like slows down and it's like, you get to exhale. And that's the whole thing. You get out of your head and into your body, because guess what? There ain't nowhere else to be. You're freezing your tits off. It's like 45 degrees, and I do 10 to 15 minutes every day. So I'm not messing around. I'm serious about this. But for those 10 to 15 minutes, I'm in my body. I'm not thinking about anything. My brain is shut off. It's a deep form of meditation, because I do meditate when I'm in there. And what that does to my day and what it's done to my life is nothing short of extraordinary.
That's amazing.
I am in the best place I've ever been in my life because I chose to show up for myself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I said, I'm no longer available for the BS.
Yes.
This is go time. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. And there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
You're choosing you.
That's it.
You're committing to yourself. You're creating space for it. You're focused on community. You're focused on health and wellness, connecting with people. And really, as humans, we are not here to work. We're not here to struggle or sit in traffic or anything. Human beings are on this planet to live, to enjoy the human experience, to enjoy nature, to enjoy each other.
To enjoy each other is one of the biggest things, and I think that's why we are hardwired for connection and community.
Yes.
And so many people suffer in loneliness. It's the biggest disease of the century we're in. And we all experienced that during COVID. How many people had anxiety, depression, suicide rates were out of control. I don't think anyone in the mental health industry has ever experienced the overwhelm of what's happening. And all my friends that are in the mental health industry have had their own experiences. So I had my horrible experiences, and everyone I know that has the courage to talk about it went through their own shit in the last 2 years, 3 years. So it's your chance now to do that, to find connection, to find community, and to have the courage to go on this journey for you, because you fucking matter.
Yes.
You matter. We need you.
And I think another reason why I opened this place was when I was in my own search for community. When I moved down here during COVID. And you know, when I was in New York, I had my work friends, I had my gym friends, and that was kind of it. And then I moved down here and I had my gym friends, but I constantly felt this struggle to find people who were on a similar journey as me, who wanted to have those deeper conversations, who just didn't want to go to the bar and get fucked up, because that's 100%. Just what 90% of people wanted to do. And most people my age, I'm 33, so, you know, in my 30s, most people my age that I did know were, you know, in a serious relationship, so they'd spend all their time with their significant other, or they had children, or were working so much that they weren't seeking kind of people to hang out with, you know, unless it was going to a bar or some specific, you know, outing in some way. And it doesn't matter what age you are, you need connection.
Absolutely.
Especially as you age, you need connection that's outside of your family. Family is beautiful and amazing, but
you need your people.
You need your people.
The high vibe tribe.
That's it. That's it. And I feel like so many people, at least, and I remember when I was younger, looking at people that I worked with that were in their 30s or 40s or whatever, and their lives were just their family.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but where is the fulfillment, the joy, you know, in any of that? And where is that, I think, to being surrounded by people who are working on themselves and trying to better themselves and trying to grow. And even when we have our dark moments, like I go into my darkness cave probably once a week for a couple days. Now, it used to be Thursday through Sunday. Now it's only Saturday and Sunday that I'm in my darkness cave, so I'm really excited about that. But I've accepted my darkness cave. Right? I've made a cute name for it. It's my darkness cave. I put some posters on the walls, some pretty lights. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, this is part of my ebb and flow. I'm going to be in here. I know I'm going to get out of it. And, you know, I'm still learning to to pull myself out of it in different ways. It's a struggle. I mean, you see me here all the time,
but
know.
I think it's part of the human experience is accepting the duality of life.
Yes.
This whole thing about being up all the time is bullshit. And I used to be an upper queen. I would do all the things to make you feel high, only natural things, not them drugs, people. All the natural things, run, exercise, yoga, exercise, hip class, blah, blah, blah. Go to the beach, go for a run. But the whole thing is dancing with your duality, dancing with the shadow, dancing with the light. It's the dance. It's like, okay, well, I'm feeling shit today. I'm going to allow myself to experience that, and then I'm going to go outside for a walk on the beach, and then I'm going to go and do this, and I'm going to go and scream into a pillow because I want to slap somebody, and it's just self-regulating.
Yes.
But it's knowing that as the part of the human experience is that we have to have the polarity. It's the darkness and the light. It's our shadow and our light, and it's like, okay, they're going to be here always. We're all going to have the yin and the yang.
Yes.
So it's learning to zigzag between the two and kind of being, I think it's when you have self-acceptance of that. It's accepting that you're not always going to be high. You're a human being. You're not a light being.
Right.
You know, like
if we wanted to be a light being, we wouldn't have incarnated on this planet to begin with.
We wouldn't be in this earth suit. So part of your responsibility as a human being is to accept the duality and be able to hold both aspects of who you are and say, okay, dance with it. That's my biggest thing for people. Just fucking dance. If you think about it, we go back as old as time. People sat around a fire and they danced. It's how you process, it's how you move, it's our most primal thing we do. But everyone's like, no, that
everyone's so afraid to move because they're so afraid to do something wrong because they're feeling so, whether they feel shame about how they move their body or shame with their body or, it comes back to that shame thing. It comes back to that, I don't want people to see me not perfect.
And I don't want people, what is somebody else going to say? Somebody else's opinion of you is none of your business.
None of your business.
That is their opinion. They can keep it. Once you become embodied, you don't give a shit what they have to say. I really don't. I'm like, I've had my last fuck removed. I'm really sorry. But this is me. You get all of me.
Here
this is what makes me happy.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm not here to live your life. And another thing about other people's opinion, if somebody is further along, nobody that is further along the journey in life will ever criticize you.
Yes.
It's only the haters that are going to hate because they are not prepared to do the work. They are lazy and they are stuck in struggle city and they have an opinion of what they think you should do. Sorry, did you get the memo for my life? Because the last time I checked, there isn't a memo. I'm just going to wake up and do me every single day. And for me, I work on feeling. I go, how does it make me feel?
Yes.
Does this make me feel good? Does this person make me feel good? Does this food make me feel good? Does the cold plunge make me feel good? Yeah, there's going to be discomfort, but how do I feel afterwards? Oh, I just ate a burger. How do I feel? Ugh, I feel heavy. I feel lethargic. Not so cute. I eat a salad, nice salmon salad, beautiful tray of roasted veggies and some tahini dressing. How do I feel? Oh, I feel energized. What am I going to choose?
Right.
And you can choose the burger, but you're going to deal with the
know,
consequences.
Yeah, exactly. Know what you're coming up against.
100%.
And this is why I like breath work. I feel like breath work, if you allow yourself to actually do the breath work, is the great equalizer. Because there reaches a point where in the breath work session, your conscious mind is off and your body and your subconscious are just letting it out. And that could be, I've had people purge, I've had people scream, I've had people cry, I've had people move and twist in weird, crazy ways, and it's you don't get to choose how you show up if you fully surrender. Now there's some people who will not, and then I'm just looking at them and like their chest isn't even moving, their belly's not moving, and I was like, okay, come on, you paid for this, you gotta do something, but that's fine, they're not ready for it, I understand. I'm never gonna make someone do something they're not ready for.
People have to be ready.
Right. But when they are, and you're doing a practice like breath work, is you don't get to choose. You don't get to think, oh, well, what do all these people think if I start howling? You just do it.
And it's so liberating.
I love it.
It's so liberating.
Yes.
Breath work, I think and the reason breath work has become so popular is it's the deepest somatic release we can have without any substances. Your brain produces DMT. You go into altered states And that's the whole thing about not having control. Your body releases what's the highest priority of what needs to be released.
Yes.
And you get to process all the shit that you've buried deep down. Often you'll notice when you don't process your emotions, you start shallow breathing. So you're like, and you hold it here. It's like pushing that beach ball down. Beach ball, push. What happens when you push it down too much? It'll hit you in the face. The beautiful thing with breath work is you get to move that energy and that trauma and that pain, that frustration through your body. And you don't have to hold it. You don't get all stiff and this in life. You just get to flow. Your shoulders drop. You show up differently because you've released your trauma.
Yeah.
No, breath work. If you haven't done breath work, get your ass in some breath work. You guys do it every day here. What?
Every
12:15.
So there's a 7:15 and 12:15 and a 5:45. Yes. On the weekends it's 8:15. But no, and it's amazing for me too to see, right? Because I'm teaching breathwork every day, so I get to see people's journeys. I get to see how they release, how they move, and like you were saying with the cold plunge too. Like there have been times that I've been here. People come in, they check in, okay, great, they do their cold plunge, they come out, and there's one time there was a couple that came in, and as they were leaving, or they were like standing by the bathroom or whatever, and I went to go check them in again, and I realized that they were the same couple I had just spoken to 20 minutes before, but they looked completely different.
I know I look different. I know I look different since I started, because I've been here, for 3 months? This is my 3rd month.
Yeah.
I look completely different physically. My energetic body is glowing on another level. People can feel my energy because I chose to make my energy my highest priority. That's what I decided. I was like, cool. My highest priority right now is my energetic body. That's it.
That's it. Makes it easy.
Yeah.
We think. It's not easy. It's one thing as opposed to 1,500 other things, but like you said, it starts here. It starts with us. And we are energy beings. We just happen to be in meat suits, but everything has energy. Everything has frequency, vibration. And so learning to work with that, harness that, live in that, it's the same thing like you were saying when you are intentional with your food. That's something that I have gotten out of the habit of, but what I like to do when I remember to do it, nobody's perfect, is speak to my food. Speak to my water.
I do it all the time.
Whether it's, some people call it prayer, some people call it intentions, whatever it is, but I love to connect with the frequency of what I'm putting in my body.
100%. And that is it. It's being intentional with your life. I mean, Oprah always talks about it. Oprah starts every meeting with, what is your intention for this meeting? Because at the end of the day, it's our intention that gets the results we want. It's like, it's your intention that you put through everything that kind of weaves everything together. So it's like, what are you intending for yourself? What's the real energy behind what you're doing? Why are you doing it?
And in each moment, it doesn't have to be a big meeting with Oprah. It doesn't have to be a meal. It can be in each and every moment. I intend to, in this moment, sit in my car, take a big deep breath, put on some good music, have a moment of peace for myself, and then drive and get there safely, right? Like it can be the most mundane thing, but you get to infuse all of that. And the cool thing is, once you start doing it regularly, it happens without you even thinking about it.
It just becomes an automatic practice.
Yeah.
But even when you're saying that, you just drive in your car and I also like to use my car to scream. So when I'm having a bad day, I put the music really loud and I scream really loudly in the car, and that's really helps my throat open, just like because it's getting rid of. Everyone doesn't react the way they want to react. They're like, sorry about that. No, you're not really that sorry. You want to scream. If you don't want to do it in front of people, don't. But you can scream into a pillow. You can scream out the window. You can scream. And often when I swim in the ocean, I'll be underwater, and it's just get that shit out of you. Purge the vessel. Because remember, this body is becoming more light, and you have to remove the densities. And all the emotions we hold that we don't process make us heavy. That's why shaking.
And there's so much power in our voice, in our throat chakra. I feel like so many people have their throat chakra specifically blocked because they're not expressing, period. Whether that's with crying. I'm a big crier, big fan of crying. I cry all the time.
The purge is real.
Yes.
It's a cleansing. And this is the thing. The shame holds people back because no one wants to fucking cry, people.
Right.
Cry.
Well, that's why I started, where was that? Oh, yesterday. I was having a morning where I was just crying all morning, and I went to jujitsu. I do jujitsu on Saturdays, open mat, and so I walk in and, you know, people were like, oh, hi, how are you, whatever, and I was like, I'm great, I've just been crying for the last 2 hours, you know, and they're just kind of looking at me like, okay, you good? I'm like, I'm great, you know, but I talk about it because I know I'm not the only one doing it. Maybe they're not crying right now, but like, you know, I cry every day.
Yesterday, when was it this week, I've cried quite a lot, and twice before I came in here, I was sitting in the car having a conversation and crying, and like I felt super emotional, and I got in the plunge out of my head, because most of the shit we are actually thinking about and overthinking about is not real.
It's not real.
So getting in the plunge, I could just be like, all my problems just drift away.
And it's being intentional with your plunge too. I
Completely.
mean, you can go in and be cold and be on your phone and be talking to people or whatever, or you can go in and be like, okay, you know, I like to do visualizations with my body and just seeing everything slow down and seeing things I need to release. I'm exhaling and feeling that connection.
I bring the white light into my crown, and I just see the solar plexus opening with a big yellow light.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's my everyday vision. Take that one.
one.
Because this is our area, this is our solar plexus chakra on the belly, third chakra. It's your place of personal power, and it's where a lot of humans are also blocked because we are so out of our personal power.
Yes.
It's like, let your sun shine from within.
Yes.
And that's here. So I just visualize the white line coming in through my crown, the white light coming in through my crown chakra, down through my other chakras, like activating my throat, activating my third eye, coming through my heart and out through the solar plexus. Just
I love that.
love that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too with visualizations. And I read a book on this a couple years ago, but it was reminded to me in a podcast that I was listening to, I think yesterday or the day before. I think it was the Aubrey Marcus, but I love Aubrey Marcus. Love him. I think it was that one, but they were talking about, and I think we all need this reminder that when we imagine things, our brain does not know the difference between what is true and what we are just imagining. And studies show they did a few studies where
with Joe Dispenza, was it with Joe Dispenza?
I don't know if that's the one, but so this was in the book that I read, that they did studies where the control group went to the gym and like worked out every day for like a week or something, or 2 weeks. I forget what the time period was, but they went to the gym and worked out. The experimental group just thought about it. And they, you know, thought every detail, this is what it feels like to pull the bar, this is what it feels like to load weights, this is what it feels like on my last rep, whatever. But they visualized it. And the people who visualized it got stronger.
Unreal.
Isn't that amazing?
It's unreal.
But
the mind is so powerful.
The mind is so powerful, but then think about all the time that we spend dreaming up
bad stories,
worst case scenario, replaying ways that we thought we embarrassed ourselves, that nobody cares about, nobody notices, nobody remembers it. But we spend so much time in those spaces where we are, like, I used to be that person, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Great, that's important. Except for I was spending so much time focusing on the worst case scenario that I would essentially create the worst case scenario, or I would just feel so horrible in my body that no matter what happened, even if it was the best case, I still did not feel good. It was still not a celebratory thing. And so now, like, okay, there's some things, especially to be like a responsible human adult, I have to prepare for the worst in some way, but I acknowledge, okay, that scenario exists, but what will it look like when it is what I want it to be?
One of my biggest manifestation, visualization kind of practices that I've really leaned into is that whole, instead of going from point A to point B, how would I feel and how would I show up at point B? So it's getting into all the sensory stuff. How would it look? How would it taste? How would it smell?
Yes.
How would I feel when I am that person living out point B and I just start living it and it changes in my life? Holy people.
Yes. And that's a Joe Dispenza thing, right? Is to feel it.
Into the energetics.
Feel it, yes.
And open your heart. It's all, like, people don't understand that our heart has its own energetic field. And when you stop living from your head and you drop into this area, because it's all about going with what you desire. So many people shut off what they really want.
Yes. Well, because they think they don't deserve it, or they think
it's not possible, and then all the limitations, all the self-imposed limitations. Don't limit yourself. You have no idea what's available to you, how powerful you are, and what you can create if you choose to go all in.
Yes.
Because you got to be committed. You can't just be like, you got to be committed. It's a showing up, it's the discipline. They say self-love is the biggest form of discipline.
Yes. Or I think discipline is the biggest form of
self-love.
Yeah,
that way,
yeah. But that's true. That's true. It's focusing on what I can do now to build the thing that I'm dreaming of versus going for the short little immediate gratification situations.
Yeah, but also if you start at point A and you think, fuck, I got to climb that mountain, it's like you're looking up at this peak instead of being like, I'm at the top of the mountain. How do I feel?
Yes.
And living your life from that place.
Yes.
Because I'm at the top of the mountain. What is the view? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What is this amazing?
How accomplished am I going to feel?
Completely.
Yes.
How does that water feel like hitting the back of your throat, that nice ice water as you got to the top of this mountain? And how energized do you feel as you look out of this over this expansive view? You're not hiking up the mountain, you're at the top of the mountain.
Yes.
What does it feel to be in the moment of having it now?
Yes.
That's for me life-changing.
And then loving every step along the way.
It's all about the journey.
Yes.
Because it's evolution and growth, I've said this before, over a lifetime. It's like you are always going to be on the journey. You're never going to arrive at the destination.
Right.
You will arrive at one destination and then there's another destination to get you. You're constantly moving towards where you want to be. You're not going to arrive and be like,
look at me, I made it. Now
Exactly.
I have no problems and no fears and I love myself and nobody's bothering me and no one's trying to push my boundaries. No, that doesn't exist.
Does not
and
exist.
it gets more intense.
The more
I
work
would say
you do.
the more work you do.
100%.
But
Because
then
you
you also-
expose, you're
yes.
ripping. So you're peeling the onion. It's layer 1 off, layer 2 off. And as you get closer to the core of the onion, the more self-aware you are, the more sensitive you are, the more you feel everything. And I think that's one of the parts of where people want to run for cover. Because they're like, holy shit. Like, I feel so much and I feel so exposed.
Yes.
But if you surround yourself with the right people and the right community, they will just hold you, support you, and lift you up.
Yes.
That's the beauty of having people that want to see you succeed, that want to see you step into your light, and that just want to see the best for you.
And if you do have a community of people where they don't want the best for you, those are not your people.
Those are not your people. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. I think we've all found ourselves there at some point in time.
Yeah.
And I think that stress is like it might be scary having to leave friendships. I would say
devastating.
friendship breakups
Oh.
can be worse than romantic breakups.
I've walked away from so many relationships, especially in the past year. And it was just, I was like, I know how I show up in my life and I know how I show up for my friends.
Yes.
And if you can't hold me at my worst, you can't have me at my best.
Yes.
So if you're not going to show up when I'm in my darkness because it's too scary for you and I'm too much for you to handle, then you're not going to have me when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
You're not going to be around for the good times.
Right.
Because I'm not just a good time girl.
Right.
I'm a human being going through a human experience, and I'm not always going to have my shit together. And when I went through my stuff, I'm an intense person. So when I'm in my light, I'm in the brightest light. When I'm in my darkest, it is horrific.
Yeah.
Straight up, it's horrific. It's not pretty. But I've got a control on it now. I really understand it now. I've learned to control it. Not control it. I've learned to
Work with it.
navigate
Work with
it
yeah.
in a completely different way. But that was it. It was losing some of those friends, like my best friends that had been in my life for 15 years, walking away from those relationships. It was gut-wrenching initially.
Yes.
But now what I've really learned in that kind of area is when you make space when you let go of the relationships that don't support you, you make so much space for the right relationships. And the sisterhood I have now, the sisterhood relationships, my soul sisters that I have in my life right now, I love these women and I only want the best for them. And it's like the Rise, Sister Rise movement. We all just want to see each other shine.
Yes.
And it feels so good because women are meant to be in community more than ever.
Yes.
Because when women are in community and we lift each other up, that is where the magic happens. Women empowering women is one of the most powerful spaces to be in because women are so damn powerful, but when they get together and they collaborate, that is where the magic is. If you think about it, if we go back oldest time, women would go out into the field and they would collect stuff and they would put in their basket. And then they would come back and sit around the fire and they would share their baskets. And that's how women they bounced off each other.
Yeah.
So now as we start to find community and we start to share our baskets, it's like, well, I have these tools and these skills and these berries, and you have that grass and those skills and those berries, and you have that and I have this, and we bring it together. This is what this is like our programming.
Look at all this abundance,
look at all this
that
magic.
we have.
And together,
Yes.
let's like alchemize all this stuff.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up the sisterhood, the woman thing. And I feel like you and I have talked about this before, where most women that I know grew up being taught, told, conditioned, shown, whatever, that women need to compete against one another. That we need to judge each other, that we need to be mean girls. That if she has something that I want, then I have to hate her for it, and then I have to try to get the thing that she has that I want. And this has rung true for almost everybody that I know.
Yeah.
I feel every single woman that I know has gone through some iteration of this.
And it hurts so deep.
I'm still working through my sister wounds. Like I would say, was it like a month ago in therapy, I was still talking through it, still trying to figure out why something was triggering me so badly. And it was because I discovered that I still had never felt like I had never felt like I could be safe in the feminine.
Yeah.
Yes. I never felt like I could trust. I didn't.
Because they don't have your back, because they can stab you in the back.
Right, because they had for so many years in childhood and grade school and stuff, and even college. And that narrative gets to go away.
Completely.
We get to completely wipe that out. And it starts with trusting.
Ourselves.
And it starts with extending. Exactly. Trusting ourselves, knowing that we're living from a place in our heart. If you're living from a place in your heart, then nothing else matters.
And nothing else can really touch you.
Yes.
You can't really be hurt
Yes.
when you're living from an open-hearted space.
Yes.
Because you're putting yourself out there, and you will be hurt. You can still be hurt, but you're coming from the purest form of who you are.
Yes. And you can still be hurt, but I feel like most of the wounds that we experience, whether it's betrayal or whether it's, heartbreak or whatever, if we still love ourselves that much, yes, we'll still feel it because we're human, and feel it, cry, do what you got to do. But also, the more you love yourself, the less that will matter. You know what? I understand that person betrayed me. They betrayed my trust. And now my sadness, instead of feeling angry or vindictive or mad or just sad, it's a grieving of that relationship because that person is no longer meant to be in my life.
Yeah.
And it's a different process. It's a different sadness, a different emotion, an emotion that's built on growth, on moving forward, whether instead of an emotion that's like tied to that person or that experience.
Completely.
And it's amazing to see how that shifts.
And it's so, I feel like it's so liberating.
Yes.
To allow the love and the sisterhood in, because when you have your sisters and you're all sitting there together and you're doing your makeup and you're having a laugh and you like, try this smoothie, try this thing, we like help each other.
Yes.
And then it's like you see people stepping into their light and stepping into their business, and you support each other and you're like, yes, go girl, you fucking got this. It's such a different feeling because it's like you want to celebrate them and they want to celebrate you, and it's together you rise.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
100%.
Period.
Yeah.
Well, very nice, Jess.
What a great conversation. I love
This is such
that.
a beautiful conversation.
We covered lots of different areas, so you guys have got a whole lot of bounty in there.
A whole lot of bounty. Before we end this, is there anything that you want to share? Any of your projects coming up? I know you talked about your alchemy kitchen. And
so I'm going to be launching my alchemy in the kitchen. That's going to be kind of doing a YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. So that's going to be at Wanderlust Chef on Instagram.
I'll link it in the show notes.
Link it in the show notes there. And I think I'm also going to do some goddess and embodiment workshops, and they're going to be held here. So we're going to be chatting.
Stay tuned for that. It's going to be amazing.
I'm also starting one-on-one sessions with the Healy, which is this incredible frequency device, and card reading. So you can get to choose a half an hour or 1 hour session of those. So they'll be in person and online. So hit me up, girls.
Yes, amazing things happening. Again, thank you so much, Jess.
That's been such a pleasure.
You.
I love you, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm celebrating your sister.
Thank you. Yay! I can give you a hug. Yay. Oh, that was so good.
I loved it.
We did so good. I'm not going to cut this part out.